Okay. Good morning, class.
Good morning, sir.
Good
Morning.
morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good, 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 good. I believe you did enjoy the short break that you have really prepared yourself for the second semester. Is that correct?
Very correct, sir.
We
No,
thank God.
sir. No, sir.
Okay. All right. So as we are aware, today commences the second semester, and then we're supposed to do the part two of what we started last semester. So before we start, I believe you have checked the portal. The course materials are not available at the moment. It's because I have a peculiar challenge, and then I have informed the team. So hopefully, before the start of the next meeting, all the materials will be available on the portal. But in the interim, I can furnish you with, what you'll be doing for today um, via WhatsApp. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So I just want us to quickly um, look at what we'll be doing. So today, more or less a recap of, some of the things we did last semester because we will be building on them. So we look at some of the things and then get recharged for, the semesters ahead. But let me ask you, I think you've not been able to assess your results as at yet, but specifically with my course, um, how did you go with the examination even before you see the results? Because I'm almost done, and I realized that some of you did so well, others are still below, I mean, my expectation. I don't know. From what I saw, it appears some of you were not following what we did. You know, at least the script I marked. It appears that some of you were not following or you didn't pay attention to the course itself, or you didn't understand the course, or you were just not serious with the course. I don't know. What went wrong, or what do you want me to actually maybe improve or change so that this semester could be a much improved semester for you in terms of your academic, progression. So you can unmute your microphones and then let's do this quickly before we jump into, the task for today. Because once you are getting the knowledge, you need to show on your records, on your transcript that you are, you know, appreciating the course. If you are not getting the math, there's something we need to, look at. Okay, and from all indications, yes, I've not actually checked by name, but some of you did so well. Others are just below expectation. So tell us what went wrong last semester. What do you want me to actually work or improve on so that we can see much better performance this semester? So Eunice, Sarah AJ, I know you are following. So tell us.
Hello, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Fine, thank you, Lenny.
I'm good. Yes. So tell us what went wrong last semester.
Oh, sir, please, nothing went wrong.
Hey, are
Yep.
you sure, Eunice?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right. Is that also end of what? Go ahead.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I think last sem was okay. Your method of thinking was okay. Being workers, maybe this sem you want it to be more practical. Want the outlook to be more practical. But with what we did last sem, we should be able to go through it, if not the challenges we had at workplaces and other stuff. Because the semester we have a lot of challenges and other stuff, and then what I can simply put it is that we didn't have enough time to go through the slides to learn and come and write the exam. So if you see some of us not performing so well, maybe it's because of workloads that didn't give us enough time to prepare enough for the the end of sem, with sickness and other activities, falling in place. So basically, that's what I can say for that.
All right. All right. Thank you, Mr. Wanted. That's it. Okay. Can we get other views? Okay. Nathan, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
So, with me, what I'll say is that the semester was not bad. It was good. Just as Randolph said, sometimes we are workers, we want to learn, but you don't get that opportunity, and we understand because we are distance learners. The other thing that I wanted to improve is the group studies. So
Okay.
in our group, I tried that we meet, but anytime there's somebody else who the meeting, the group studies, I don't know if we can get the institution to put his eyes on it so that we should be able to be compact and meet. It's one of our challenges because I feel when we meet like that, we can help each other and then we can move on. But the group studies hasn't been so good, and it's one of the challenge. So if some
Okay.
people are not doing well, I could blame it on our group studies as well because we tried, but it wasn't easy. So that's
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So
thank you.
maybe the final one. Thank you, Nee. The final one, Paul Cooker. Cooker, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, Paul. Go ahead.
So I think my colleagues have said it all. So so far so good. In
Okay.
my side, I'm always having the same issues with what my colleagues have said. But your side you did because after the semester I was telling some of my colleagues that you were one of the best lecturers since level 100 because how you present your things, your lectures and your slides, updating it one after the other, it was very perfect. But because of our time, combining work with studies, I think it wasn't helpful. But
Okay.
we need to
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you for the great contributions. Um, I think yes, I understand that you are distance students, but you are here for your various degrees, and to be able to get the degrees, you need to work for them. So yes, we know the challenges at the workplace, challenges maybe at home and all that, but let us try a little bit. Okay, let us try a little bit. Um, so with the performance, like I mentioned, I think not somebody, but uh, some students had um, with the actual exams close to 60, almost perfect score. I think the highest was 55 over 60 or so, not one, maybe two of them, and then a couple of 50s, 52, thereabout. And then the lowest so far over 60, I think was 12, and then 14, 16, thereabout. And I was a bit shocked why somebody should get 16 or 12 or something over. I mean, 16. And most of the marks were, I would say, compassionate marks. Because once if you sit down for the exams, at least some of the things do not really, make sense, but we try to adjust. So such students, there's no way they are going to pass. So please, 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 please. And then the last assignment or quiz I gave the whole class, if you realize, I didn't score any of you. I initially wanted to. I think I started with um, Mrs. Abigail Aqua. So when I was going through her submission, I said, "Oh, these are wonderful submissions." Then later I realized it was the same answer throughout. I said, "Hey, so this is internet aided answers." So because of that, the last piece I didn't record. I mean the last piece. So the whole class, everybody had 0 for using AI, and you didn't even customize the answer. So the last piece, I didn't award marks. So Abigail, if you saw, I sent a message and later deleted because I was going to give you a perfect score for that. And then later I realized that it was the same answer for almost everybody in the class. I say, how? So that is why I didn't grade the last quiz. The last quiz was not graded because you copied directly from AI, directly, nothing. You didn't customize anything. I'm not saying using AI is bad, but at least we need to use it well, properly. So and I know some of you are laughing in your minds that oh, it's true. But if I'm lying, you can actually, challenge me. But that's what I saw. Okay. So like I said, today's meeting will be more or less a recap of what we did. So we will look at business needs and procurement decisions again, because it's the foundation of what to be doing for the rest of the semester. So we'll go back to look at some of the things we did. And here are the objectives for, today, to better understand the business needs and challenges in procurement and logistics, appreciate the key forms of types of purchases, and then also develop the understanding of the other categories of procurement, and then strategies required for their acquisition. So we will try to look at that. So the first question is, what are business needs? And from what we gathered last semester, but we saw that organizations, in order to, function and function properly, is supposed to get certain needs, certain inputs. Okay, so the inputs are needed for the operations of the organization. And these inputs may include Materials may include components, machinery and equipment, other supplies, kiosks, services, energy, among others. And these are needed in order to perform its activities and pursue its objectives. So without the needs, it will be difficult for any organization to say that they actually performing their mandate. It can't really happen. Whether the organization is a service providing entity or a manufacturing organization, certain resources or input are needed. And we saw that in the organizational setup, there may be a number of units or departments with specific mandates. And clearly, you saw that the mandate of procurement is to superintend or aid in the acquisition of goods, works, and services. In other words, to acquire the inputs or the needs of the organization for their operations. So this is why the planners of business activities, not just business activities, it could be government establishments, will normally notify that unit with the mandate of what? Procurement. Okay, to actually acquire those needed inputs. So this clearly shows that even though procurement has the mandate to undertake acquisition activities on behalf of the organization, the actual originator of the procurement process is the user. In other words, the ultimate beneficiary of what the procurement outcome. So once procurement processes are done, the department that ultimately benefits from the procurement activity is the originator of the procurement process. And that originator, in most cases, is known as what? The user department, or simply the user. Okay, so once the requisition gets to the procurement unit or department, then the actual procurement from the procurement department begins. And it is expected that the acquisition process or the acquisition of the inputs will be done in the right manner. That is, getting the products of the right quality, supplied in the right quantity, to the right place at the right time, and for the right price. Okay, so sometimes we say that the functional and operational objective of procurement are basically to provide right inputs, so that it can meet the operational needs of the organization. I will come back to this. So that is that, to meet the operational needs of the organization. But you see, let's go back to this again. Look at it carefully. The heading is what? Business needs. business needs. Why do we call those needs business needs, but not just an organizational needs? Have you asked yourself that question? Why do we call them business needs, but not, let's say, organizational needs? Can somebody attempt this question? We'll get there, but I just want to, because we did this last semester. Can somebody attempt this question? Why business needs? Why not organizational needs? But we are calling those inputs business needs. Anyone to attempt? And I want somebody to try. Okay, Mr. Watt. So.
Okay, sir. So the organizational needs may be wider than the business needs, where others may not be in terms of bringing them value to the organization or kind of profit to the organization proper, to the business proper. But the business needs, we are looking at things that will keep the supply, that will keep the business moving forward and then bringing in the profits. So that's basically, that's what I think that is limited to just a business need, because that's the business side of the organization.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, good attempt. Mr. Ethan, go ahead.
Yes, sir. So, sir, with the organization needs, we are talking about strategic and then the long-term needs of the business.
With
But
organizational needs.
yes, it's a strategic and then the long-term projections that they make. But with business needs, they are the operational needs, which is the day-to-day needs of the business, the activities, what is needed to make sure that they achieve value for money. Thank you.
Okay. Good attempt. Good attempt. But I think maybe if somebody can complete it. Business needs, organizational needs. Why are we so interested in this business needs, but not just an organizational needs? Okay, so maybe we have additional ones. Nimanche, go ahead. Nimanche, go ahead.
Yes, sir. So I would rather say that business needs are broader in terms of what it looks at, whilst organizational needs focuses on the internal things. I'm saying this because it's not every organization that is into business.
Okay.
So that is what I can say for now, please. Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. So that is another good attempt. And you see, the reason why we are saying business needs, even though you try to explain, is simply because, and from last semester, we saw that the role of procurement has significantly shifted from merely administrative or clerical to a more strategic, commercial, and business-focused role. Do you remember we said this? So when you look at the scope of procurement practice, there are basically three levels. The lower level is known as what? The operational level. Then we have the middle level activities, or the tactical level. And then we have the strategic level. Okay, so in terms of the practice, These are the scope. Okay, the scope comprises three major, levels. So because now the focus has changed, it's not just a mere administrative function. Whatever acquisition, whether it is direct or indirect, whether it is straight rebuy, modified rebuy, or new buy, we should see them as what? Not just any inputs or item we are acquiring, but they are what? Business, they should be what? Business related. So if such items are not going to add up to the overall organizational outlook, then we shouldn't even go there. So from last semester, when we were looking at forms of businesses, and we saw different forms of business organizations, we mentioned so proprietorship, partnership, and the rest. And then we even talked about what? Public enterprises. Even though these are distinct business ownership, one is more particular about what? Profit. The other is not. But it does not mean that even though we are not solely looking at profit, but we shouldn't operate at a loss. Okay. So even at that, for public enterprises, where profit is not the major focus, they are still operating at least at a break-even point. Do you see that? So even at that level, even though we are not looking at profit, but we shouldn't operate at a loss. We should be making what? Operating at a break-even point. So even at that point, we need to procure things that will make us operate on that level. It is not just a mere administrative or clerical role anymore. So because the procurement focus has shifted from that administrative role to business focus, then whatever acquisition that is being done is regarded as what? Business needs. They are not just any organization, they are business needs. So if you are not going to add up, if you are not going to add value to the organizational performance or outlook, then we need to relook at it. That is the meaning of this. So whether you are doing procurement at the government sector, public sector procurement, whether at the private sector, look at procurement from that angle. It is not just any, administrative role anymore. It is business. Why? Because, and I mentioned that for some organizations, procurement expenditure accounts more than 20%, sometimes 40% of the company's expenses. Just there are several units or departments, but procurement alone may account up to maybe 40, 50% of the company's expenditure. So if this is the case, then we shouldn't handle that profession or function as a mere administrative function. Because we may not be selling, but the proper management of procurement can save the company huge sums of money. So it is because of what? The focus of procurement at the moment. And the focus now is strategic, commercial, and business focus role. So anything that has to do with this must be seen as what? Business. It must be seen as business. And as business, we are interested in what? Profit maximization. Okay? So once you see that your function as business related, then any action you take, you need to evaluate to ascertain the real impact of that action. Is it going to add value to the organizational outlook or not? Okay, so before you act on any request, that's why I said that you need to interrogate. So procurement responsibility therefore extends to a larger proportion of what the organization spending. And such decision can make significant impact on bottom line profit, the crucial area of what? External expenditure. Crucial. Are you with me, class? Do you get it now?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. We already said.
Yeah. So forget about where you are practicing procurement. Just forget it. Just understand that now the focus is no more administrative. Okay, so once you receive the request, oh, they are saying we should procure this for them. They are saying we should be procured. No, it's not just that anymore. Interrogate. And what is the basis for the interrogation? To ascertain the commercial or business value of that
Yes,
procurement.
sir.
Yeah, to establish that this acquisition is indeed going to have significant impacts on the organizational outlook. We are not just spending, we are spending right. We are pushing for what we term as what? Value for money. So if you are spending 1 cedi, the expectation is that the 1 cedi should be able to add value to the organizational outlook, performance, value. Value. So simply, the role of procurement, like I have mentioned, is not merely to fulfill operational or technical requirements. No, it's not just that. Yes, to some extent, we're supposed to do that. But once we are fulfilling, we need to link or connect that to the overall organizational performance, i.e., the business aspect of what? The entity. Because we know that it contributes to the bottom line profit of the unit or the enterprise. Bottom line. So I said to be able to calculate profit. Profit is simply your revenue minus cost. So if your cost is higher than your revenue, you will not be able to make profit. You make losses. So procurement contributes to that. So that is why we need to look at it carefully from that perspective. The addition of shareholder value. Addition of shareholder value. So once you do that, think about the shareholders, the value they will get. It is dependent on the profit margin of the organization. So the fact that you are there, don't be so much interested in what you get. What is the impact of this on the organizational value? Because others have invested in the company thinking that the company will make profit so that their shareholder value will, increase. So if you are thinking about your shareholders, then you look at it that it is not just any decision. The achievement of value for money solution in conducting procurement exercises, i.e., securing an optimal balance of whole life costs and quality. So I mentioned that if you want to know that you are making the best decision in terms of maybe minimizing procurement costs, in most cases for capital procurement, high value procurement, we don't just focus on the price. We go into other things. That is where whole life costs, total cost of ownership, those assessments will come in. Why? Because we are looking into the future. We are not just looking at one aspect of it, price. Just one aspect that, oh, the price is this. What about the cost of owning the equipment or facility for 5 years? What will be the impact of that on the organizational performance? Okay, so you look at that. So yes, it is good we consider price, but it shouldn't be the only determinant of procurement decision. No. So we go into whole life cost. Why? Because we are thinking about long term. Because I said that the focus is no more mere administrative, it is strategic. Strategic meaning long term, commercial or business focus. So this may be a bit expensive today, but if you look at the cost of owning this for 5 years, it will be better for us to maybe go for this once and for all, even though there are other cheaper options. But the cheaper options, these are the dynamics. Okay. So the effective management of organizational cash flows to ensure that the business maintains the liquidity to cover its short-term liabilities, such as what? Paying employees, suppliers, and to maintain the operations of the organization. So sometimes we use other strategies. There's money, but we want to negotiate with suppliers so that we don't pay everything at once. Why? Because there are other critical issues the organization or the entity needs to attend to. Okay, so even though we have procured, even though we needed those items, even though the items are going to add something to the organization, but the organization needs funds. So we can't, put all our funds in just one activity. So we use better procurement arrangement. Okay, so you can negotiate on payment terms. You can negotiate on payment terms. You can defer payment through better relationship management with your key stakeholders, suppliers, contractors, in order to take care of other critical needs of the organization. So these are major things procurement is doing in the organization. And they are no more from what we are seeing here. it goes beyond just an administrative role. So that is why we need to have what we call business case. We need to establish a business case. If not all, most of the procurement decisions we make, business case. So when we talk about business case, it is simply the justification of procurement or sourcing project in terms of its identifiable business benefits, balanced against any recognized constraints, such as costs and risk involved in obtaining those benefits. So in most cases, we need to have a business case, i.e. a justification in our procurement practice. So if you are procuring A, what is the justification? What is the business case for that acquisition? So the justification will review the benefits the entity stands to gain from that procurement activity. Okay, so the benefits must not be limited to the user, because I've said that ultimately every procurement outcome has one or users. Okay, it could be one, it could be more, but ultimately the originator is the beneficiary. But it shouldn't be limited to just the originator. It is coming to me, I am going to use it. That is fair enough. But it shouldn't end on my desk. I requested for a laptop. So the laptop is going to, business school, Department of Procurement, Logistics and Supply Chain. That is fair enough because we requested for it. But what is the business case for this acquisition? Even though the university, like we may think it's not a business establishment. We are not thinking about profits. But now, it is no more like that. So the fact that we are not thinking about profit shouldn't mean we need to be making losses. We need to be procuring left, right, center, back without thinking about the implication. No. So in other words, procurement activity and expenditure with external suppliers should not be carried out for its own sake or because it is embedded in organizational procedure. That, procurement is responsible for this, we're supposed to add, if you need anything, send to procurement. No. This is, somebody will say, this mindset is probably during Kwame Nkrumah's time, but now it has changed completely. Because at first we just wanted to develop. So once you want to develop as a country, you will build, you construct, you do other things. And as a result, it will call for the acquisition of goods, wares, and services. You just needed to. But now look at it from this perspective. It is business focus. And for that matter, the proposed procurement activity should be examined and challenged to demonstrate how they contribute to the commercial and strategic objectives of the business or the organization, if you don't want to call it business, but the organization. So challenge the procurement. And if you can't do this, in no time, I'm telling you, in no time, people will just reduce the number of requests they send to your office, because not all needs are rare needs. I've been telling you, not all needs are rare needs. The rare needs will come with this justification or will come with the business case, the rare needs. So if you really need it, you have a good justification why it is needed and why the organization must go all out in order to get such items. And mind you, we are not just talking about goods, we are talking about all other procurement outcomes. It could be works, it could be services. Okay, so you need to. And I'm hoping that in no time, some of you will get into, leadership positions, governance, and you need to influence what we do. Okay, you need to influence that. So now you ask, I think government is already trying to have a highway between Accra and Kumasi. I'm sure you are aware of that, the expressway. Okay, so the process is ongoing. I don't know if the contractor has been selected, but they are in the process of doing that. And if you look at what the finance minister said about, or even the president about this express way, according to them, it is not going to be a normal, just any highway. It will be a commercial, route if you want to go to maybe Kumasi from Accra or Accra from Kumasi. It's not just an alternative. We should we should look at it from that angle. Even governance is thinking business. So they are going to toll the users of that highway. Okay, so the monies that is being used for the construction, they are looking at ways to recoup the monies back. So we need to examine that. And then plan and manage the proposed procurement should be planned and managed in such a way as to maximize their contribution to the commercial and strategic objectives of the business. Example, achieving value for money, minimizing waste, risk, among others. Any question, please? Because I said that they are just setting, the ground for what is, going to be done for this semester. So we need to understand this from this angle, business needs. So for all the courses, I think maybe apart from French and com skills, this is the only course that has been divided into two. So there's a reason. Needs one, needs two. So business case or the justification. Why? Because procurement focus has changed completely. It has changed. Okay. And I gave you this scenario. Okay. So a user or the user is the IT department. are thinking of acquiring a software upgrade, okay, so you have this request. So once you have this request, the question is that we need to go back to this. You need to examine and challenge to demonstrate how this request would contribute to the commercial and strategic objectives of the organization or the business. Okay. So they will try to say something, provide some information as to why it is important for the upgrade, the software upgrade to be procured. So you may look at that, oh, it is good. But you see, the business case argument for the upgrade would have to show that improved IT system performance will offer a commercial and business benefit. Okay, not just the improvement at the IT directorate or unit. Not just that. And as you are aware, maybe you are just used to the new system because that's what you came to meet. But we used to have a very old system for our results, transcript, and almost all activities here at JCT. And as an exams officer for my department, it was easy working with the old system. Now we have a new system. And we have written a number of petition against this. The new system, which is supposed to improve, is rather making our work cumbersome. So you ask yourself, who pushed for the acquisition of this new software? Because it's not really making things better. In fact, it's affecting, things we do for our students. Students are complaining that their results, they are seeing the eyes, they are seeing this, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that customer satisfaction, which we're looking at improving, is rather worsening, and it's not the best. Because I don't know who championed that. Did we have that, student-centered mindset when this idea came? I don't know, because I was not part of, those decision-making process. Why should the students, write exams, and then over a year, students are still struggling to see the results? And it's not because of anything, but because there are some deficiencies. So guys, I'm telling you, if the results, the moment the results are published and you don't see your results, don't sit down. Okay? Don't sit down to, final year. Just put pressure on whoever is responsible to address your issue for them, for you. Don't wait, because it's not going to help. We were hoping that we will have a better upgrade that will handle all these lapses, but that is not the case. Okay, so it's not just that. So we are looking at what ways of improving customer satisfaction. So you tick the box. Is this going to be done? Yes or no, or neutral. So you need to have something like that. So you check. What about shortening task processing time? You take yes, yes, yes. Reducing system maintenance costs, yes or no. So you take. Okay, so you have all the boxes. So if it is showing positive, signs, then it is telling you that that is a real need. Because once you procure, it is going to add value. It is not just going to improve the performance of the user. but it has to overall, commercial or business value. Okay, so that is what you're supposed to, happen. So you take, don't just act, examine, and then in the examination, you are trying to find answers to certain questions. So those answers will tell you whether you should go ahead and procure those items or not. If you get no answer, it means that that is not a good procurement. It is not going to add any meaningful value to the organization. It is rather going to drain or leak the company's resources. It is just a normal procurement. Normal procurement. The traditional procurement we know. We just procure because it is an organizational, activity. We need to fulfill it. No. You should understand that resources are not readily available, and the little ones must be utilized wisely. Must be utilized wisely. So we don't just procure. So you come to, our personal lives. Some of us have, kids. So your kids or your children are telling you that you buy this, and then you buy this, you buy. You realize that, what am I doing? Am I doing something right or wrong? Everything you just buy. Everything, buy this, you buy. Buy a new car, you buy. Buy this, buy this, buy. In no time, you realize that, oh, I've not been a good dad. I was just spending. So that is that with business case up to this point. Do we have a question or two or comment? Because I know that sometimes people will say, "Oh, say this thing you are saying, it can't be done." Oh, it can be done. And I told you that I think between 2013 2014, I was made to handle the procurement section of the university briefly for just a brief, I think 4 or 5 months. At the time, we're just private university, and I changed a lot of things. I introduced new things, and that things I introduced really changed the dynamics here. Because people became scared. They said, but what is this? The guy is demanding for this, demanding for that. Then we will not even request. Then I realized that things they were requesting initially were not actually needed. Okay. So if there are few comments, questions, maybe one or two so far. Mr. Jesse, go ahead because we won the Premier League. Go ahead. Okay. Mr. Ando. Okay. Go ahead.
Oh, good morning, sir.
Morning. Good morning, sir.
Yeah. So, I want to know if after.
Come again, please. Oh, Mr. Ando. Your network is terrible.
Interrogating the user department after challenging and interrogating purchase or acquisition of that
Can you start
the input of the organization. Do you write back to the user department? Can you hear me now?
Yes. So go ahead.
Hello, sir.
Yes, go ahead. It's better now.
So my question is after doing your interrogation, challenging the user department to justify why a requisition should be fulfilled. And after your interrogation, you realize that the acquisition or their requisition will not add any value to the organization, do you need to write back to the user department explaining why their request will not be fulfilled?
Okay. So so that is a very good question. I don't know if somebody can try. It's a very good question. And typically, if you go to any organization, can you describe how the procurement process is done? Okay, Mr. Dan, so you want to try? Go ahead.
Yes, sir. So on the question, yes, you have to let them know why their request falls short of being fulfilled. They have to know if there's a memo or it's a mail request that they submitted. It's have a standard that you have to go back and inform them that this cannot be done, and give reasons why you think that it cannot be done. Because if the system we are operating now is even more efficient than what you are going to buy, then there's no need for us to buy. So basically, that is how you go about it. You have to let them know why you think that it cannot be done. But if they still insist, and the powers that be says you should do it, your recommendation is already there. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Mr. Ade.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon from my end. I believe you can hear me.
Yes.
Yeah, so I will just add up to what Mr. Randolph said. So exactly what is supposed to be done. So looking at my company where I work, so if there is any request that should be made, officially you need to address it by writing an email. And if there is any rejection or why the officer thing is not needed, he will reply, and then the management together with the requesting the department or the person requesting for the item will be called for a meeting, and then they will try to sort it out before. So even after the email has been sent, they will still call for a meeting to make clarity why you made this request and why you are also saying we cannot. I mean, this is not needed. So before, I mean, they will come out from, I mean, that meeting, even though the email has been sent, but they will resolve that before, I mean, verbally, not just only written, writing the email. So that is how it's been done at where I work.
Okay. Thank you very much. Wonderful contributions. Yeah. So I think Mr. Ando. Yeah. So this is, I mean, how you're supposed to do it. But first of all, before you can interrogate or even examine these things, you must be on top of what you're doing as a procurement person. You must be on top of your job. And this is how it works. You know, if you're on top of what you do, you know what is happening at every time. For instance, maybe last month, you receive a request from a particular, let's say, HR department. What is the request about? They want procurement to, procure, let's say, a 2.0 AC for the HR department last month. Okay. And then this month, you receive that procurement was done successfully. This month, you receive another request, and it is the same AC. We want AC 2.0 purpose for our office. Okay, the same request. So the first one, which was done last month, and then this new request. Do you think the second one must go? The answer is no. But because some of us, you don't really pay attention to details. You don't pay attention to our records. You would think that it is a new procurement. But if we had paid attention, if we are on top of what we are doing, we know that but we received our report. We received the same request from this department just a month ago. The purpose was for the office. Now they are demanding for the same AC for the same office. How? Okay. So first of all, before you can interrogate, you need to be on top of. You need to be on top of what you're doing. You don't have to be an armchair person. That is why we are training you guys. That we know that some of you are already into practice. That is fine, but we need to improve. We need to improve. Okay, we really need to improve. So you can't say that we cannot procure this. What are your justifications for saying that we can't procure this for you? Okay, so you can't just say that, oh, because we need to interrogate, I'm saying that we cannot procure, we cannot do this. What? You need to have a good justification. Okay, so normally, once I asked a question before, I think Mr. Lasso came in. I said that once in the organization, this is how the process goes. Once the need is identified, it gets to procurement. Procurement works on it, get to the approving authority. Once the approval is given, then it gets out of what the organization to the vendor. So that this is the flow from the user to procurement to approval to the vendor. Okay, so once you receive it, if everything is okay, the acquisition itself is okay, the request is okay, the specification, everything is intact. So between you and then the approving authority, this is the report you send that we can't, even though you receive this, we can't go ahead with it because these are the questions. Concern 1, this, 2, 3, you list them. So between you and then the approving authority. So like Mr. Danso said, if the approving authority says you still need to go ahead, you have already made your recommendation. So if auditors come, they know that you raise certain queries, but your superiors rejected it. That is fine. But as a professional, you must know what is right, and you must give your professional opinion on all procurement related cases or activities. You get it? So it's not just between you, it's not just between you and then the user. So between you and the user, you can't reject it. So maybe on that oral level, you can say, but this is what we have identified. Or maybe you can just write back to them that, oh, but you requested for the same thing. Is it an oversight or just, but if they are insisting between you and the approving authority, you need to establish that fact that this procurement cannot happen for the following reasons. And then it is just a recommendation you are giving. It is up to the approving authority to go by your recommendation or reject it. Okay, so you do your part as a professional procurement person. You are not going to fight the authority for saying that even if he or she is saying you are still going to procure, you don't fight. You have already made your point known to them. I think I saw another hand. I saw a hand. Hey,
Yes.
network challenge.
Yeah. So, man,
Okay, I saw network challenges. Is it from my end or Mr. Danto's end? Or do you hear
I can
me?
hear you. I can hear you clearly.
Okay, okay. All right. Go ahead, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Minton.
Sir, of late, one of the things I do is any institution that I go, I try to find out how the procurement department is functioning. Who are the people at the forefront working on documents? And so I was amazed. Sometimes you get to the department and you realize that national service people, majority of them are the people sitting and working on documents. I visited a
Okay.
hospital. I don't want to mention the name, and I saw, and that put my mind to professionalism, ethics, and where do we draw the line? Because if you have people who are doing internships, and we know how procurement has now become which is not mere clerical or administrative anymore, but strategic. So I want to find out, my question is it a normal practice? Because we have to also be careful not to decline that aspect that people shouldn't be trained because they are the future. But where should we place them between the lines so that national service people shouldn't be working on this procurement documents and you see somebody authorizing them do this? But these things are very, very professional things and critical. So I keep thinking, is it a normal practice? And where do we draw the line between training and the professionals doing the work? Or that is the norm?
Okay, so like you rightly mentioned, that is not the norm. Okay, that is not the norm. From the when we're looking at the scope of procurement practice, I even mentioned it this morning that we have three levels. We have the operational level activities. And do you remember some of the things we captured under operational level? If you've been reading, you know that some activities are just limited to the operational level activities. So if you call yourself a procurement person, if you are not doing anything at all, at least you should be doing one or two at the operational level. Okay, at the operational level. And then we have managerial or tactical level activities. And those activities require special training or years of work experience. And then you progress to the strategic level or the top level procurement activities. Okay, so a novice cannot start performing strategic or managerial level activities. If it is operational level, that is fine. Okay, so the national service guy, you ask yourself, what exactly is this person doing there? Is it operational level activities or is it managerial level activities? If it is managerial or strategic, that is where the problem is. But if it's operational, maybe filing records, maybe checking data, doing this, okay, or maybe calling suppliers, maybe undertaking or performing expediting roles. These are at operational level. So you ask exactly what the person is doing. Okay, because some functions, some activities require special and years of work experience to be able to do that and get the needed results. Okay, so if I look at the organization and then the kind of people undertaking certain procurement decision, then I will know how the organization value procurement. Okay, that is how I will know without even going through your records. By just looking at the profile of your employees, I will just know that. And the kind of what they do. I know that this company is maybe is up and coming, organization, or they don't really value the role of procurement in their organizational setup, or they don't really understand it. Okay. Because
Yes,
I've told you that
yes.
you go to these mining companies and they are seriously recruiting qualified people to undertake. Even them, they are making millions of dollars, but they are still particular about who and who does what at the procurement level. So I remember my short time with the mining company. I think I've mentioned that. Always you see the company CEO coming to the procurement office. Then when he comes, the manager there say, Ato, have you done this? Ato, have you done this? You see, so this should tell you that those guys, they know the value. They know the value of procurement. So they don't joke with who and what they are doing there. So that should tell you, how the institution value the profession. Simple as that. Simple as that. I hope
Yes,
that
sir.
is clear. Yeah.
Yes, very clear, sir. Very clear. Okay.
Okay. So I think the other, let me see. Mr. Danso, is it a new hand? I should go to.
Yeah, a new hand. I just wanted to add to what Nathan was saying. You know, when you for our establishment, for instance, we have a service person who handles our procurement operationally.
Okay.
Internally, we have a process that when you are bringing on board a new vendor, in fact, when the procurement manager was handling it, it's taking us 2 months, 3 months. But then once it's sanctioned and it's forwarded to the service personnel, her duty is make sure you follow up the process to and fro. It's internal.
Yeah.
But the procurement manager have other obligations. So he's not able to follow up through for it to be done. But when we give it to the service personnel who's operational, within a week, it's done. But sometimes when the manager was handling a month, and
Oh,
the
really?
other office are not corresponding, he's not following up on it. So basically, when it comes to operational activities, once you give the person a little training and he understands it, he'll be able to run it through. But then when it
Yeah.
comes to decision making, that's where we need the experience and then to be able to know that, oh no, this one cannot work, one can work, this cannot. But operation is also about documentation. When you submit
Yeah.
document and said we don't need this one, add this, you go back and go and add it, do this and that, which is internal. So it doesn't
Wonderful.
involve a lot of decision making. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Mr. Ade.
So, sir, sir,
Yes, sir.
just a quick one. So, just as Randolph have said, does it mean with those guys, they are just performing clerical and administrative duties
Operational.
at that
Operational.
level, at that
Operational.
operational?
Yeah. Operational.
Okay.
So that's why I said that, you see, we all need to start from somewhere. We all need to start from somewhere. Okay, so people will
Right.
start, obviously, maybe their interest in procurement will even start from there. I told you that mine started from the mining company. I had
Right.
finished university, and then I wanted to get a good job. So I was pushed to that mining company briefly with the aim of getting full-time employment. So when I went, a senior advised that I should go to procurement. So when I went, I had no idea about procurement. I told you my bag. Initially, I wanted to be a banker, but I changed. Everything changed when I got to the mining company. So whilst there, then I started learning. Oh, go here, go to this office, submit this, go to the, this user, go and check this. When they bring items, they say, okay, be part of the inspection team. You are not going to do the inspection, but you are there to, learn one or two things, okay? And then that interest came. So we need to give people the chance to, learn. But the problem is when people with no experience are performing roles that are supposed to be done by specialists. That is where the problem is. Okay, so once it is operational thing, there are no issues with that. Okay, and then, well,
Yes, sir. For my is just a contribution to what you said about
okay,
when a department requests or send a request to the procurement department, and they need to, you were mentioning that they need to go through some records and see if there have been some purchase or request of the same item already. In the big organizations, let me use where I work. Actually, I don't work in the procurement department, but I ask questions whenever I see them going rounds, trying to assess and also having meetings. I do ask questions because I have some of the Ghanaian guys who work at that department. So what I've realized is they have systems. And some of the systems they use, one is Oracle. That is what they use here. And the Oracle, the updated one, I've seen that they have inbuilt trackers, which
okay,
every department that is sending a request, automatically the tracker will detect that or report
wonderful.
the department. So whenever there is a new request, and it's the same item they are requesting for, the same things that they are requesting for. The system will automatically send a notification that this has
Yeah,
already been requested before, and it will give you the time and the dates that the request was made. So it's even make it very easier for the procurement
yeah,
officer to know that okay, this was made this time, and then it hasn't been 6 or 7 months. You are requesting this again.
yeah,
So it
yeah.
makes decision or I mean trying to send email back to the department who requested for that item very easy without going
Wonderful,
through previous emails that was sent.
wonderful,
That's what I wanted to add.
wonderful. So that is that. You see, so one of the reasons why when you come to Ghana or maybe other developing economies, maybe they will not want to go electronic. Yes, I mean what you are saying, because people want to take advantage of the system. All right, but if we have a system that can track, people will just run away from it. So they will do everything to, I mean, stand against the introduction of electronic systems. People will say, "Oh, it will give us problem." I remember when we wanted to do is it e-voting or something, electronic voting in Ghana. People were saying a whole lot of things that oh, it can't work. It is this, it is that. Yes, I understand that there could be challenges, but once it is done well, once it is implemented well, the outcome is always good. Okay, so you are lucky you have your company has that system, and I believe that is a huge company. But you come to here, Ghana, most of these companies they don't have such systems in place, and sometimes it would take the effort of the procurement officers to know that something bad is happening. Okay. So people will know that as for this guy, if you are not careful, he'll get it too. So before they know, sometimes they will just intentionally send requests just to, test whether you are on top, whether you pay attention to details, whether you are tracking, whether you are doing A or B. They will just do that. You get it? It's like some students, they will just ask certain questions. They know the answer already, but they are just testing their teachers or lecturers. So people will do that. Okay, so we need to be on top. That is why we need to, if you don't have that system, Emmanuel is talking about, you need to have reports. Okay, it could be weekly report, it could be monthly report, and then you have quarterly report, annual report. So from that, you could generate tables, charts to indicate where requests are coming from. And then you know that you can even grade. I was grading that this is the highest, requester in this organization, and they normally request for this type of items. So I was always giving reports. When we go for meetings, I will just present, and then people will people say, "Hey, you guys, so what have you been using the A4 sheet for?" You'll be asking questions. So if you've been requesting for A4 sheets, but the organization doesn't see how you use the A4 sheets, they will ask for them. You get it? So we need to do that. We need to do that to save the company. All right. So when it comes to the types of purchases, like we mentioned the other day, basically there are three. I said that some items are known as straight rebuy, and then we have modified rebuy, you remember, and then the new buy. So in terms of business case, we should understand that all products, all goods are not the same and do not require the same level of energy. That is why some activities, like Mr. Newton mentioned, we will ask service people to handle them. Okay? Oh, this is just a mere, you can handle it. But some items are critical, and that it must be superintended by professionals. Okay? So if it is a straight rebuy, in most cases, we don't follow every stage of the procurement process systematically. We don't go through it like all products are the same. Okay, all products are not the same. So once it has to do with, straight rebar, meaning there is what an established or preferred supplier. It's a known supplier. The product in question is a known product. Users are conversant with the product. You know the acceptance rate of the product or even the rejection rate of the product. So it will not be necessary to establish, let's say, a specification or to survey and source the market. It may not be necessary to invite quotation or select a new supplier. You know the product already. Okay, so a systematic justification of expenditure on the basis of business may not be warranted. Because sometimes going through the process alone may increase the cost of procurement. So almost everything you want to subject it to systematic procurement process by trying to figure out, what do you call it, the business justification, or even evaluating when the product is, the value involved is not that huge. Okay, money is money, but look at the time, because in procurement, time is also considered as a major resource. Major resource. And yes, I'm told you did procurement principles last semester. So I'm sure you did procurement methods. Did you do procurement methods? Have you done that? Have you done procurement methods?
No, sir. I don't think we've done.
Oh, really? Okay. So, for instance, we know the default procurement method is competitive method, competitive tendering. Competitive. The default method is competitive tendering. But you see, the fact that it is the default method does not mean that all procurement must be subject to what competitive tendering. No. So sometimes we say that, oh, single source procurement or sole source procurement or restricted procurement method is not the best. But sometimes, under the circumstance, it may be the most suitable because of what the time involved. Because competitive tendering method can sometimes last for maybe 6 months or 8 months. So if you need something urgently, there will be no need to use competitive tendering method, even though it is the most preferred. The same applies to the item. It is a straight rebuy. Users are aware of the product. The companies are aware of the product. The product in question is a known product, tried and tested. The supplier is not giving any new thing. The market is not offering any new thing. So no matter what you do, you still come back to the same product. So looking at this situation, it is not right to go through the process systematically if the value involved, assuming the cost of procurement is around 1,000 Ghana cedis, and you want to go competitive tendering. Do you know how much it will cost you for even evaluating the tenders? People who will be part of the evaluation team, how much are you going to pay them as certain allowance or even refreshment? So look at that. So that is why I am saying that not all procurement require the same level of energy or commitment. And then we have modified rebuy, similar to, I mean, the straight rebuy. So if the modification is not huge, if it is not going to change or have huge impact on the company's finances, I'm talking about the value of procurement. It is the same thing. But if the value, the modification is going to, introduce something huge. If, for instance, maybe you initially wanted to construct just a single story, the first and then the second floors. This is the original arrangement. And now you want to modify. What is the modification? You want to add 3 more stories. So look at the addition, the modification. It is even bigger than what? The original procurement. So in this case, you can't just say that it is the modification is small. It is not small because the modification or the addition is more than the original procurement. So you need to subject this to systematic procurement. And why are you doing that? You want to get the best of what procurement outcome. And then in most cases, if it is a new buy, something that is not known, maybe the supplier is not known, you have not worked with the supplier before or the contractor before, you are now diving into a gray area. Then you need to be very careful. So to be able to, close all loopholes for any disaster in the procurement process, you need to, subject it to systematic, ideally. But you must also consider the value. So sometimes the product in question is new, but the value involved is not that huge. Okay, so you may, ignore that systematic arrangement. But if the value, the procurement value is new, and then the value involved is huge, in other words, the risk is high, it is always critical to subject that to, the systematic procurement, what do you call it, process. Okay, so we need to get a justification. What is the justification? What is the business case of this procurement? Why are we dealing with these contractors? Why do we want to settle on contractor B? Okay, so you are doing all this because you just want to, obtain a very good procurement outcome. And that if the procurement process fails, the consequences will not be dire on the organization. So that is why you are looking at all other avenues. You are looking at, you are undertaking what we call due diligence. You are even looking at the entire supply chain. You are looking at, supplier relationships. So all those strategic, aspects of procurement, you want to go into that just to be sure that whatever you settled on is the best decision, and that is going to add value to the organization. So these are not the only things. There are other categories. Of procurement. So like I mentioned, all items are not the same. Some items are very, very expensive. Some items will be in your custody for a very long time. Okay. So we have other categories include capital procurement or capital goods. And we know how capital goods are. So capital acquisition of capital goods should not be perceived as though they are just normal commodities. No. Acquisition of production materials, raw materials, should not be looked at it like any other item. Because the lifeblood of the organization is the raw materials. Okay, so if you don't get the raw materials, the organization will not operate. And then if the organization is not operating, then there's no organization at all. Okay, so all these items, so as a procurement officer, day in and day out, you receive a number of requests. Then the requests that come to you, some of the items will be capital items, some will be what? Production items, you have MRO items, normal commodities, and then maybe if you find yourself in a retail industry, maybe goods for resale. So all this will come. So once they come to you, look at the nature of their procurement. Are they straight rebuy? Are they modified rebuy? Are they new purchases? Aside that, are these capital procurement? If they are capital procurement, what's supposed to be done? How do we go about it? If they are not capital procurement, but rather production materials, we need those items for our company's production. How do we go about it? So, like Mr. Ramsford, Mr. Randolph also mentioned, the manager sometimes delays with the procurement process. You can't do this. Okay, you can't do this because maybe you are swamped or your plate is full. So requests come to your desk, and then it's taking a whole time for you to complete the process. Do you want the organization to, I mean, stop its production of operations? The answer is no. So you need to change. So you look at the request first. Is it a production procurement or procurement of production items? If the answer is yes, then you need to, look at how we approach them. Is it capital procurement? If the answer is yes, then you need to look at it from a different perspective. It is a normal, item, maybe just an indirect item or commodity. Look at it carefully. Don't give all your energy to set items. And then when critical items come to your desk, then you give excuses that I am busy, I am that, I am this. No, that is not how it's supposed to be done. So we need to change because we are looking at it from that business point of view. Okay, so if you really want the business to do well, then you need to categorize the requests that come to your desk. Okay, and then you know that this is a critical procurement. This is not critical. Okay, so I think on this note, this is where I will end. I think the other aspects have been captured or elaborated here. So maybe you can just go back to the slides. Like I mentioned, I will populate, if the issue is resolved, I'll populate the portal with all the course materials, hopefully before our next meeting. And I want us to do well this semester because we have not done that. I think this is the third time I'm teaching you, not done that. This semester we'll be doing a lot of presentations from your group work. And I don't know how you're going to do that, but you need to do that just to work on other aspects of your learning or your time with us. I know you are doing that with other courses, but I will be introducing presentations this semester, group work, and it helps a lot. I remember when I was doing my master's in procurement, I had very little knowledge in terms of practice. So the group discussions really helped. Really, really helped. So those who are into practice will say certain things, and then you will say, "Oh, okay, so this is how it works." So it really worked. So I think the director of Ghana Highway was my mate, and then even the deputy director, uh, yes, deputy CEO Ghana Public Procurement Authority. He used to be at Ghana Bauxite, so they were giving very insightful contribution, and it really helped us. Okay, so group work is very good. So I'll move slightly to group task this semester so that that aspect of your development will be polished because you don't have to be individualistic all the time. You need to also look at that team aspect. I hope you are okay with this arrangement. So I am done. If there are one or two questions, go ahead. If there are no questions, I will take my attendance and then will be out of here. My next lecture starts at exactly 10. So you can unmute your microphones if there are questions, if there are contributions, share them with us. Thank you very much for your time.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. You
Thanks very
couldn't
much
answer this
for.
question. You couldn't answer this question during the exams. Do you remember why capital goods differ from other procurements, other goods? Mr. Rudolph, that's so you couldn't answer that question well. Oh, okay, go ahead, please.
Yeah, so I wanted to find out for this semester under business needs, what are we looking at?
So we are looking at, I think about 6, 7 topics. I mentioned some of them. We are looking at, what we did today, the intro of business needs. We will also look at prices. Again, I told you last semester, so we're looking at costs and prices this semester. We look at sustainability, sustainable procurement this semester. So, and then I think there's quality. We will look at quality management this semester. And then I think 2 other topics I need to check the course outline. Okay, so like I mentioned, I'm going to populate the portal with all those things. But in the interim, this slides and then the outline, maybe I'll make them available to you on WhatsApp through Michael or any of your group members. Okay. Yeah. But you said you have not done procurement methods in principles.
Yeah, we did it too. We've done it. Dr. Chia took us through it.
Oh,
The
wait,
procurement methods.
Ken,
Yes.
you are doing that, but it's not all. We have some who are doing
Oh,
procurement.
you remember? No, Emmanuel. You remember he took us through how to do national competitive tendering,
Hello,
restricted
sir.
tendering.
No,
There are
request for
logistics
quotation.
personnel
that
and
is procurement.
part of this course too.
That's
So
what
I
he's
think,
asking that we do
sir,
it.
I think the logistics and transport personnel here too. So I think
Yes.
it's just the procurement
Procurement people who did it.
were
Of
able
course.
to do it.
Okay, so the
So you have to
principles
take us
were
through all over again.
so the procurement students, study the principles.
Exactly, sir. But we did
Oh,
port operations last
Emmanuel,
time.
you should have said that. Why you say we have not done it? That one.
Okay, now I've not done it.
Have we done it?
That's
We
what I'm saying.
haven't. We've not
yeah,
done
it's
it.
okay.
Able to
It's okay.
do the disparity.
It's okay. So we will maybe we look at the methods briefly. Maybe yes, briefly. Okay, so that you know that there are methods in procurement. So maybe we will look at that together with other things. So that is that. I hope that is fine.
Yes, sir. Well,
Yeah.
Sir, please,
Yes, sir.
does it mean you will take us through sustainability in procurement and supply? Because
Yeah. I think you have a whole course on that.
yes.
But I will still do. Yes, but as part of business needs, we need to look at sustainability and ethical procurement.
Okay.
So maybe we do that as a topic whilst you look at the bigger picture. But I don't know what you'll be looking at that course. But this one, it is part of what we're supposed to do this semester. We look at sustainable procurement and then ethical aspect of procurement. Okay, as the full topic. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Great. Thank you, sir.
All right. Okay, so if you didn't talk, it means you're absent. If you didn't talk, it means you're absent. Maxwell is absent.
So we are here.
Hey, Maxwell. Bridget.
Atimbio.
Atimbio is there. What about Maxwell Kuma?
So please, I'm here.
Okay. Bridget is absent, right?
I'm here.
Hey, Bridget, you need to change your. Pfizer. Richmond.
Samuel.
Okay. Redo.
I like your new technology.
Gladys.
The Collins is here.
Okay. Arnold. Arnold absent. Okay.
I don't change mine. Definitely you change it. I don't have any plan.
Gideon. You need to be
Yeah, I'm
very
here.
fast. Okay.
I'm here.
Okay. Awuni. Solomon. Money. Richard.
Doc,
Hey.
please, I'm here. Doc, please, I'm
Okay.
here.
Rachel
Sir, I'm
Konko.
here. Sir, I'm
Okay.
here.
Helena Ando, present. Wisdom.
Please, Rachel
Sir,
is here.
sir,
Okay.
I'm here.
Hello, sir.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning. Maybe Sewa. Hey,
Sir,
maybe.
please, I was in class, so I had a challenge in my network.
What's your
This
name, please?
Pfizer.
Pfizer. Okay.
Sir, please,
Paulina.
Elinando is in class.
Sir, Paulina is here.
Okay. Benedetta. Absent. Eunice is present. No, Eunice is present. Frida. Frida here.
Sir, please, I'm here.
Hey, you didn't call me. Okay. Jackson.
Sir, I'll call you.
Yes, sir.
Jackson.
Hello, sir.
You are here. Okay. Laura.
Hello, sir, I'm here. Good morning.
Good morning. Okay. Emmanuel Ansa. Absent. Prince Ewudu Benjamin. Absent. Stephen.
Sir, I'm here.
Goldstein.
Prince is here. Sir, good morning.
Prince is here, right?
Yes, please.
Okay. Stephen. Absent. Okay. Sumaila. Absent. Sharifatu. Absent.
So she was here, but she stepped left online. I think she they have
Okay.
laptop. Yeah.
Senior is here. Mariam Opare, Mrs. Absent. Elizabeth Apia. Absent. Okay. Diana Owusu, Mrs.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. Francis Dari, officer.
Sir, please,
Absent.
Apia Elizabeth is here.
Apia Elizabeth.
Sir, Moses Auku is around. He says it's Mike.
Who?
I think you've absent him. Moses Auku. He's
Moses
up there.
Auku.
Yes, he's up. You've passed him already. You gave him absent.
Okay. Juliet is here. So Peter Kwame Asari. Peter Kwame Asari. Yes.
So Sharif.
Ethan is here. Charity Esiedu.
Sir, I'm here.
Okay. Ruth.
Sir,
Kuma. Mrs. Mr. Ando is here. Mercy. Kendra Ampa. Mrs. or Miss. Absent. James Oredu.
Present, sir. Sir, I'm here.
Thomas Tete Jaffa. Thomas. Absent.
Yeah, he's present. He's present. Yeah.
Mr. Steven Akrabo absent. For him, I'll do introduce here for present. Kwaku Mensah, Emmanuel Kwaku Mensah.
I don't know.
Bismarck Cranton Oman.
Present.
Okay. Samuel Ochre. Absent. Ernest Tavo. Absent.
Sir, please, some watcher present.
Okay. Hey, okay. Isaac Kumoji. Gilbert Echampo.
Yes, sir. Sir, I'm here, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thomas Ni
Present.
Odati Thompson.
Present.
Ni Odati Thompson. Erica Mwako.
Yeah, I'm here.
Martha
Sir,
Dapa.
I'm here. Good morning, sir.
Okay. Salome Entry, Mrs. Absent.
I'm
Yeah,
Doc,
I'm here. I'm here. No, Dorcas.
Dr. Sese. What about Salome? Salome Entry.
Sir, I'm here. Salome Entry.
Okay. Tracy, Mame.
I'm here, sir.
Benjamin Asante. Absent. Albert Mawuli Tamaklu. Absent. Michael Asare Dako. Absent. Stephanie, I think I saw her. Jesse Jr.
Say I'm here.
Absent. Okay.
Say I'm here.
Prince J. Absent. Paul are present. Angela. Who's it?
I'm here.
Okay. Imanada present. Also present. Randolph Timbuk. Absent.
Sir, please, I haven't seen my own.
Sir, present.
Who?
Antibios is present.
Sir, please, I think book is present.
Okay. Fred Edu. Absent. Nyako.
Sir, I saw him is present. Fred Edu.
You saw him, eh?
Yeah, I saw his name in there.
Abigail, yes. I think Abigail is present. Mr. Kofi Sabute. Absent. Absent or present? Frank Aponza.
Present.
Mr. Frank Aponza. Okay. So thank you very much. See you.
Sir, sorry, Sharifa was on the line, but she had some issues, so she left.
Sharifa, okay.
Yeah, Sharifat.
And I
Okay.
said Moses Awuku is up, I think, from the start. Moses Awuku.
Moses Awuku. Hey,
Yes.
Moses Zoiku.
Is there Aiku?
Ayiku.
Zoiku. Zoiku.
Okay. Okay. So maybe I will check later. Don't worry. So see you next weekend. Have a nice weekend. Bye-bye.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye. Thank you.